I mean, here we go. You know, it's been a while.
Too long.
2 weeks.
2 weeks to be exact. 2 weeks too long. But it feels good to be back.
It does.
Great.
Welcome to another edition of Leadership.
Lean in.
But I'm leaning to the side. Lean in. Where we are leaning into the subject of leadership, trying to get just a little bit better. We can only promise progress. We cannot promise perfection. We can only promise, as promised, progress. We're getting a little bit better. We're leaning into the subject. Thank you to everyone that subscribes, likes, comments, shares. The lean in, or as we call them, the leaners, they are a ferocious bunch.
Ferocious.
They are, they consume content of all kinds of leaders. They're readers. They're kind, godly. Everywhere I go, people say to me, you know, I'm a leaner. And I love it. I can't get enough of it. We are a good 4 years into this podcast, maybe five.
Pretty crazy.
5 years in. And we just get a little bit better. We're not the smartest bunch in the whole world, as this introduction is clearly outlining, but we are a curious bunch. And to be a leader, you got to have some curiosity about you. You got to wonder. I'm reading right now. This morning I was reading the book of Ecclesiastes. Solomon is writing. He's like, I studied it all. I just tried to figure it all out. It's all meaningless.
So comforting.
That's not my conclusion.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, we are trying to understand how to be the best leaders possible. So we're going to jump in just a moment. I do need to mention we're being joined. Wanster is behind the camera, a face built only for radio. Nate the Great is here to give a good amen. I noticed that people in the comments love to acknowledge your right or amen.
Yeah.
Or
one word.
Yeah.
And it's in there.
People love that. And then we are joined today. This is your first time being on?
It's my first one.
Wow.
The great Rob Osborne, heralding from the state of Illinois.
The great state.
Nope.
Illinois.
It was just Illinois. It was you took that liberty, not us. I do love a lot of people from Illinois. Some of my favorite people, best friends, are from the state of Illinois. It has given us great things like Michael Jordan, originally from North Carolina. But Rob Osborne leads our college here, our leadership college.
Yes.
You can't be on the podcast unless you're leading something. Rob is engaged to be married.
Yes.
Wow.
It's October.
October the
Crazy.
what? Give me the date again.
The 14th. It's a Friday.
It is going to be off the charts.
So much fun. I can't believe it.
Your fiance is, for my wife and I and our family, as great of a person as you're ever going to find. You, I don't know what you did, my friend. She is the greatest, and we're so ecstatic for both of you guys. It's going to be an amazing next, what is it? Is that in 6 months?
Yeah. 5 months.
5 months away. It's going to be
Crazy.
amazing. 5 months, getting ready, getting married. What a fun season.
So fun.
We love this guy, the Robster. He is my pickleball partner.
True.
It's true.
We have won a lot of pickleball games.
And Nate has never won against us.
Is it true?
Well, not against you guys, but I got one off you the other day.
Did you? Where
Me and
were
Tommy.
we?
It was you and Rich against me and Tommy.
And you beat me and Rich?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Not
I
out
don't
of 2 out of
believe
3, but we got
Okay. Because that's what we're talking about.
Yeah,
here.
okay.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
Nadal, did he win the match? Or are we talking about you lost the game? Okay.
It's a moral victory, okay? It's a moral victory.
That was an indulgence that we will quickly bypass. Nate has never won.
Right.
And Rob and I, we did lose that day to Rich. I think you and I, we lost
did
to Tommy
because we
and-
played for 3 hours.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what it
Yeah,
was.
you went at making excuses too, Rob. Totally. See, I just took it. I ate it.
You are a big excuse guy. Anyways, start saying that. Rob leads our college. We're excited. This next fall, we want to invite everybody. Come be with us.
Yeah.
Fall semester.
In Los Angeles. There's just nothing like LA. By the way, today is voting day here in LA. We're getting a new mayor.
Mm-hmm.
The two things that are kind of circling around us that need leadership, our new mayor will bring leadership to, and that is the homelessness crisis.
That's right.
And that is crime.
Yep.
And I have all the confidence. My vote is in with a guy that I think will fix the problem. And we'll get back to the narrative that LA is the greatest city in the whole
Right.
world. We have the best weather. We have the best food.
Hands
Julie
down.
and I were just across the pond, as they say. We were in Europe. And, you know, you just can't find better food than LA.
Cannot.
You can't find better food. We have the best food. We have the best coffee. We have the best people. We have the best weather. I always think people that want to leave LA, let me just get on my tangent for a second. People that want to leave LA and save 10% in taxes and live in wherever, Austin, Nashville, Coeur d'Alene, I don't care. Have your 10% tax break and enjoy yourself in Brentwood, Tennessee. I'll be in Brentwood, Los Angeles at
Yes.
the Blue Bottle
Yes.
at the farmer's market, and I'll gladly pay a 10% more tax to enjoy
worth it.
75 and sunny every day of the year.
Same.
It's a cold day. I'm in a hoodie. It's 75 today. Okay. So it's going to be 83 on Friday, 82 on Saturday, and we're going to drop down to 81 on Sunday. So let's just calm down, everybody. I'd save 10% in taxes. I'm a leader.
So make your way to Zoe Leadership College.
That's exactly right. In summary, all the college students are like, taxes? What are taxes? Most of them are filling out the TurboTax as we speak. Anyways, ZLC starting this fall. And when I say fall, in this era, we mean August.
Mm-hmm.
How did August get lumped into the fall? It's always so strange to me.
Very true.
Yeah, my kids start school, like their school year is like August 15th.
Yeah. I
I'm
always
like-
started in September.
After Labor Day weekend, as
Yeah.
God has chosen
Intended.
the calendar to be correctly obeyed. And these kids, these poor children that we're trying to raise in the ways of God, have to start school when it's still August. Nobody should be in school in August. Not even the colleges.
It's true.
It's a tough life. Okay, today we are talking about culture. And one of my favorite lines about culture, Craig Rochelle says, culture eats vision and strategy for breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that because culture, as you and I both know, it is not what we say. Culture is what we do. Culture is behavior. And culture is not what we put on the walls. It's not what we write up on the banners. Culture is what's in our hearts, how we live our life. I always think about culture. Culture is learned very slowly. You know, so I can get it in theory, but I don't always have it in practice.
Right.
It takes a while for me to go, oh, I see it. I can acknowledge it. I can see it on the wall. I can see it in their behavior, but how do I get it in me? Culture is that thing I always think there's culture that's in you that you're trying to get out of you. Bad culture that you inherited from somebody. This is a proverb for me. Be careful. You hang around an angry man, you're going to learn his ways.
Mm-hmm.
I am who I hang with.
Mm.
So whatever leadership I'm under, I become. Whatever they're like, I'm like. So the culture is that thing. I got to be careful because there's some people I got around. I became like them inadvertently, and now I act like them.
Wow.
So there's culture that's got to get out of me. There's culture that's got to get in me. So I got to get with the right people. That's the law of attraction. I got to get with the right leaders so that I can be. By the way, this is another proverb. If you want to be wise, get around the wise.
Mm-hmm.
It's great.
If you want to be great, you got to be around great. And so culture is this thing to me. I'm fascinated with culture because there's good culture, there's bad culture, there's struggling culture, there's like very enticing, attractive culture. For the organization that we lead, our culture is very strong.
Yeah.
We know who we are. We know our mission. We know our vision. We know our values. We know who we are. We know who we're not. We make no apologies for our culture. We make culture the bad guy.
Right.
Mm.
I always think people get
It's really
themselves
good.
in a lot of trouble because they lead out of preference.
Mm.
So it's always based upon the preference of the leader. I always think to myself, I got to get out of my preference and I got to get into our culture.
Mm-hmm.
So that you just paint clear parameters, clear boundaries, clear expectations. This is our culture. And then I got to live up to that standard, and I got to call everybody else up to that standard. If somebody doesn't, the culture's the bad guy, not the individual.
Right.
So I think that, I just want to highlight a couple things I think everybody needs in their culture. And the first one is, I think in every culture, people ought to be the passion.
Just
any
bottom organization, any church.
It doesn't matter what you lead. It could be coffee.
Mm-hmm.
If it's not about people, you're going to end up losing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If it's, I'm taking a quick drink. If anybody wants to say anything, feel free to indulge, because I'm going to take a little swig here. Swig.
Well, I think it's great because I think everything that we do, whether we're pouring a coffee, whether we're holding church services, or whether we work in a doctor's office, everything that we do is for people.
Yeah.
So if your passion is not people, then it will all be in vain.
Well, I think this is where a lot of people get themselves in trouble in leadership, because if it's about a result or a bottom line, you're willing to use people to get to your bottom line.
Right. I remember when we first started Zoe, when the culture wasn't what it is now.
Yeah.
I remember, some of the conversations we have now are not the conversations we were having then.
Right.
There was no culture to protect and to police.
Right.
It took a long time to get to that place where all of a sudden now the culture can be the bad guy.
Yep.
I think what you're saying is so good. It's like, now that we do have clear lines, mission, vision, statement, it's like all of that we can point it to that, instead of going like, hey, I feel this way. It's like, no, we're bought into this culture.
Right.
Yep. That's exactly right. And I think that, we can sometimes, as leaders, most great leaders are very ambitious, and they're driven, and they're wired to achieve. They're wired to ascend the hill.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like that old saying, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go with people, go with somebody. And I think that we miss out on the greatest blessing in life if we lead by ourselves and we're just that lone ranger that just like, I'm going to get it done. I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to, no apologies. I'm going to work hard. And it's like, who's next to me?
Right.
And that is the thing that you cannot sacrifice. You don't want to get, I was talking to a guy recently, has uber success, crazy, a whole different field, whole different industry. He's at the top of his totem pole in his field, and he's gone through some hard times, and he's like, who cares if I make all this money and I have all these friends and all this stuff, but my wife hates me, my kids hate me, and I don't even like myself. I think the lie of leadership sometimes is going like, if you get these results, it will make you feel like this about yourself.
Wow.
And I always think that the greatest times in life are never by yourself. They're with community.
Right.
They're with friends.
Yep.
So I think you got to make it into your culture. Like what makes this company great? What makes, clothing to coffee to restaurants to hospitality to schools? It's all people. People make a place.
Yep.
So make people the passion, and the people that go, I think that people are smart enough to know when they're being tolerated.
Totally.
They're very in tune. The intuition of people. I'm cared about, or I'm just another number.
Right.
And so make people your passion. The second one that I think is really important is being led by priorities. So you got to have a passion for people, and then you got to know what are the priorities of our leadership. Like what are did you use the word non-negotiable already?
No.
Yeah. I love those two words together. Are non-negotiables. These are what drive our leadership, our culture, but these are the priorities. So I'm going to make sure that we always have budget for X. We always have time for X. We always make sure that the priorities of, because the Craig Rochelle was saying this a couple podcasts ago. I don't know if we haven't aired the Craig Rochelle one yet.
Not yet.
He's gonna say this. The more
Spoilers.
Spoiler alert. Right. The more success you have, the more options you have. And that, to me, when he said that, it just resonated, because if you're not careful, what you'll do is you'll go, these are our culture. Your culture's so good, it'll get you to this place. And then that's when people try and change.
Right.
And it's like, no, the priorities that got you here, the non-negotiables, the disciplines, the devotion, the whatever it is, the time management, the money management, the budget, those priorities are what allow you to have even greater success. So I think what happens is when we lose our priorities, we get lackadaisical. When we lose our priorities, we start living off gift. When we lose our priorities, we start making decisions that are like, you're getting out there, you get into a place, you're like, I don't know if that's what it got you here. I think the right priorities are going to get you there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Right.
Yeah. And I think when someone's new to the organization, it's most clear, when they're off priority.
Yeah.
Everyone's excited about this, the fundamentals, what to us, might be clear, the exciting things, but to someone new, it's like, oh, I want to focus on this. And have you thought about that? And it's so far out of the priority.
Right.
And it's so important for culture to go, hey, this is, again, going back to culture of the bad guy. Those are great ideas.
Yep.
But the priority here, if we can take care of these, then okay.
And I think it's very tricky, for like any person, especially a leader, you've changed 5 times in the last 2 years, maybe in the last year. So how do you keep your priorities consistent while you're evolving?
Yeah. Let me ask you this question. If the leader is missing the priority, the top is missing the priority, how do the staff, what does that
Right.
look like for someone to lead up and go, hey, I don't know if this is...
Yeah, I think that, first of all, how do you ever lead up like that? That's just always a tricky,
Right.
It's always a tricky thing. I think, that's where, to me, I would use a reference of like when Paul says to Timothy, a scripture, he would say, you set the example. So you don't have to be the top of the organization. You have to be the oldest. You have to be the standard of priority. And so if you're a leader that's listening to this podcast and you're under someone that isn't modeling the culture or isn't adhering to the priority, that you don't go and correct them, in my opinion.
Right.
Hey, man, what's up? Hey, so-and-so. I think you just model it because I think that stands out.
Yeah.
But I think priorities are such a big deal because your no is more powerful than your yes. We've talked about this. But when I have my priorities in order, it's like I know what I can say no to because I've already determined what I say yes to.
Right.
That's right.
So all these opportunities that appear and all these great things, they're all great. They're all, man, I'm thankful. But because I have my priorities in order, I don't have to be at everything. I don't have to try and be everything. I can just run my race of the life I'm trying to live and the leadership I'm trying to lead by because my priorities are in order. And I think what I see, especially right now, culture's so shifting. It's so fickle. I heard a term the other day. In our world, people are fidgetal. That's so good.
Great word.
Yeah.
They're fidgetal. They're fidgety and they're only digital. In our sphere of influence, on our little church cul-de-sac, that's what we're dealing with. So priorities are not in line because people are fidgetal. This one week, based upon the weather, based upon the news, based upon what's happening, based upon how I feel, based upon my relationships. So it's like, I think you're going to live. It's going to really delay your destiny if you stay fidgetal.
Yep.
You've got to live by priorities and write those down. Make a list of 5 to 10 priorities. I have a priority with what I do with my money. I have a priority what I do with my time. I have a priority to do about my health, so on and so forth. What are the priorities of your life? That's a really big one. The next one I put down is you got to have a major commitment to excellence. And I love excellence so much. I'm big on excellence. I talk about this all the time with our team because I think excellence speaks. Excellence talks. Excellence shouts at people. When I go to Disneyland, it's not Mickey, Minnie, and Goofy that's shouting at me. It's the excellence.
Right.
I walk down that main street and I look at the way that the trash is being swept up and there's no garbage anywhere and the signs are great and the team is in uniform and unison and the choreography. I was like, in my head, what is it? Say it again. Choreography is seamless. All of that excellence talks to me.
Yeah.
The only other place I've been to that has even a rival of excellence, in my opinion, is the Masters. And you go to the Masters and it's like just your experience to buy merch is excellent, or buy the sandwiches or whatever it's not just the grounds and it's not just the workers. It's all of it. Excellence speaks. So does a lack of excellence. a lack of excellence. Proverbs, the book of Proverbs, guys like, I went by the lazy guy's house. It talked to me.
Right.
The weeds were talking to me. The mess was talking to me. So when you are a leader that leads out of excellence, people feel the spirit of that. They can sense, wow, this place is in order. These people have prepared. I always think about, as an orator, when you get up and talk, people can tell. Do you know what you're saying?
Yeah.
Do you know where you're going with this? Have you thought about this? Are you, do you always have to go back to your notes? But when you're prepared, it's like that excellence speaks.
That's right.
And I think that's what I love about when I go to Chick-fil-A. Man, Chick-fil-A talks to me. When I'm in line and they come up to my window and they got the thing right there and I'm 12, 13 cars back. They're taking my order and I'm paid and I pull up. It's
By name.
Yeah.
Oh, Chad, here you go.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
And I think what hurts so many leaders is that they admire excellence, but they don't know how to live out excellence. Excellence is in the details. Excellence is in the small things, crossing every T, dotting every I. I used to love, when I was a youth pastor, I used to love to go on a Wednesday. I would set up all the chairs in perfect order. I would make sure every, row would match with the next row and the gap was perfect. I'd vacuum the floor. I'd vacuum the stage. I'd make sure all the cords were taped. I would make sure all the graphics. I was into the details. And because I knew these young people that are coming in, it will talk to them. But not only that, if a principal walks in the door, I always thought if a parent hangs out in the back, they'll trust me with their kids because they know this guy, he's taking it serious.
Right.
He is prepared. And I think the excellence is that thing. Don't skimp on the details.
Right.
Don't skip on the little things. It's amazing to me. So many people want it easy. Nothing's easy.
Right. It's easy. It's either easy now
Yeah.
and hard later, or hard now and easy later.
Nothing's easy.
It's never going to be easy all the way through.
Yeah, we're so afraid of work in our culture.
Yes.
People are allergic to work.
Do you see the Elon Musk email that went out?
Yeah.
To the staff?
Show up or don't.
Hey, 40 hours.
What a novel
second.
concept. I just read this Bloomberg article this week, and we're in the midst of the Great Resignation, and it was talking about how the employee has never had more demands and never had more power, more leverage. And when I got done reading, I was just thinking, wow, it's just a generational thing.
Right.
We're afraid of work. We're allergic to work. I've never been a part of anything great that didn't cost me. I've never done anything in my life that didn't require a lot of work. You want to do a conference? A lot of work.
Mm-hmm.
You want to write a book? A lot of work. You want to build an organization? A lot of work.
Yep.
There's nothing, and I think that it's not just about the work; it's about the excellence attached to it.
Right.
One of my favorite scriptures, Colossians 3:23. Everything you do it wholeheartedly as unto the Lord. That always reminds me, I am not working this hard for a paycheck. I'm not working this hard for a man. I'm not working this hard for my spouse.
That's right.
All of my work is to bring glory to God. And work is a gift from God. Work is a gift from God.
Right.
So God gave me this job. It's a gift. I'm graced with it. So because I'm graced with it, he's watching my stewardship. He's watching my diligence. He's watching my devotion. And he's watching my excellence. One of my favorite stories in the Bible is a story about Daniel. The king looks at Daniel and he sees Daniel, and it says in Daniel 6, he sees that he has an excellent spirit. So we know that it's not Disneyland, the trash cans and the uniforms that speak to me, or the master's palmetto sandwich. It is the spirit of excellence that is shouting at somebody.
Right.
And I think when you are well-spoken, when you are well-read, when you are well-studied, when you are well, presented, it'll talk to somebody.
It's like when you invite somebody over to your house.
Yes.
Like if you're hosting something at your house, you make sure that every counter is cleaned off. You notice every speck. You get the Goo Gone out and you start wiping off all the counters. But it's like they would never know that you did that.
Yeah.
Because when they show up, it's like I want them to show up and know there's no distractions.
That's right.
I'm just here to serve you.
That's
I think that's how everything that we do should be.
That's exactly right.
Excellence speaks.
Excellence will talk, and excellence, I think, creates a great reputation.
Yeah. I remember when I was in Bible college you were over at Bible college, and I was a young knucklehead. Now I'm an old knucklehead, older knucklehead.
We're still knuckleheads,
yeah, older,
yeah.
yes. And I remember you gave me this book to read about excellence called Fred Factor.
Oh, I love
The
that
Fred
book.
Factor, and it's this mailman.
Wow, that was a great one.
Yeah, it's a short read. You should read it. Yeah, and one of the chapters in there is called the extra mile.
Ooh.
And it's hard work ethic. That's the extra mile.
Yep.
Excellence is the extra mile.
Man,
And it's not enough to work hard, because you can work really hard and not be excellent at all.
that's right.
But it's going that next step to make sure everything is clear. Excellence. It's Disneyland, the Masters. Excellence is so loud because it's not busy.
Yeah,
Like, it's loud because silence is loud.
that's right.
In that same way.
That's
It's
right.
like you don't notice the stuff, and you're like, I've never seen this before. That I just see what I'm supposed to see.
I just see what I'm
Whoa.
supposed to see. That's so good. It's so true. And I want to encourage everyone that's listening is just, what do you have to do to go the extra mile?
Yeah.
Fred Factor, that was such a great book.
Great
That was a
book.
classic.
Yeah.
Man, that was a great one. The last one I think you need in your culture is you need generosity.
Mm.
Generosity, we say around here, generosity is our privilege. It's not a burden. It's not laborsome. It's not like, oh, I've got to buy them a coffee. I've got to, pay for the meal. I've got to. Giving is contagious. First of all, in leadership, everything is contagious.
Right.
Attitude is contagious. Toxic culture is contagious, but so is a positive culture.
Right.
You just watch, anything that you walk in, it breeds more of. That's why I'm so afraid right now of gun violence.
Mm-hmm.
These mass shootings in our country, because it's a ripple effect.
Yep.
As soon as you start having that on the news, it triggers other 18, 19, 20-year-olds, to do the same. And so it's a scary time that we live in. We need to pray for our country. But generosity is this thing when it gets in the water, when it gets in the air, when everyone's generous with compliments, generous with encouragement, generous with time, just scheming ways to be generous, sending Venmos, sending, DoorDashes, sending Postmates, sending Uber gift cards. When it gets in it's just like, that's how we operate. And I think the scary thing for me is when people don't operate in that and then they start to get selfish. They start to get stingy.
Yeah.
And when you get that, when people start to look out for their own, I really believe we were not wired just to take care of ourselves.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's in the DNA of us. We've been created by a generous God.
Yep.
Right.
When God gets in you, the first thing he does make you generous. You go from this selfish knucklehead to this selfless servant that fast.
So good.
Yes.
It's just what happens.
Yes.
And now you're like, how do I help? How do I serve? How do I add value? And when that is a part of your culture, when generosity is in the air, when generosity is in the water, that to me is where things the lid just lifts off.
Yeah.
Because there's no limit to giving. When you limit your giving, and one of my favorite scriptures, if you sow sparingly, you reap sparingly. But if you sow generously, you reap generously.
That's right.
So I always think, what kind of world do I want? Do I want a little world? Then sow little. If I want to live in a really big world and have a lot of friendships, a lot of life, a lot of opportunity, then my world is a reflection of my sowing. Because I cannot reap what I do not sow.
That's right.
So how could I reap platform if I don't sow platform? Think about that.
Wow.
How could I reap opportunity if I don't ever give opportunity?
Wow.
That's just your life.
Yeah.
How could I reap loyalty? I never give loyalty.
That's really good.
Generosity is it's a privilege to give these things. And nothing worse than a leader that gives with a record of it, and nothing worse than a leader that gives with a string attached to it.
Right.
I'm keeping my receipts of how much I gave you, and I got a string because one day I'm gonna pull you back because we live in a city. Los Angeles is tick for tack. Los Angeles is an exchange city.
Yep.
It's a trade post.
Yep.
You give me this, I give you that.
Yep.
I had to learn that the hard way. When I came to LA, I just thought, man, everybody's great. Everybody's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm getting all this free clothes. I didn't realize free clothes meant you posting about that, buddy. I didn't realize that, like you give me a seat at your restaurant. It's because you want a seat at church.
All right.
Yeah, the clearest form of this, you're walking on the promenade and someone gives you a CD.
Yeah.
They say it's free, but that thing's not free.
No.
That thing needs a donation. And that, is in Los Angeles, maybe especially, but I have a feeling this is probably everywhere.
Yeah.
There's a, manipulation and generosity can look really similar.
Same.
I always feel like I'm being manipulated when you are over insistent to be generous.
That's
No,
exactly
take this. You need this. You need for me to give this to you.
That's right.
I'm like, I'm way good.
That's exactly right. When generosity is pure, the motives of it, the gift of it, it's a beautiful thing. It's the way that God loves us and God serves us. He does it whether we love him in return or not. That's generosity.
Wow.
And I think that when you can get that in the culture, generosity, hey, I'm going to buy you lunch. You don't ever have to buy me lunch.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm going to take care. Hey, I want to give you a compliment, and I'm not fishing for a compliment.
Right.
I'm going to be loyal to you, and I don't need you to be loyal to me. So I just think that when you can get this in your culture, what it breeds is trust. It breeds relationship. It breeds momentum. And a lot of people lose it because I think right now more than ever, again, another spoiler, Craig Rochelle said it when you're going to hear it. He says, this is the hardest time in COVID.
Yeah.
Right now is the hardest time. It's the hardest time to be a leader right now. And I think one of the reasons why is because people are looking out for theirs.
Right.
I got to self-preserve. I got to take care of me and mine. I got to, just people gone through so much. And I think what an opportunity to be generous.
Yeah.
What an opportunity to step up and be a leader. So if leadership is the greatest felt need, how do you operate as a leader? You got to be generous.
Yeah.
Right.
You got to give a little bit more. You got to go the extra mile. And when that happens, everybody's guard goes down.
Right.
Think about the wall that was probably up when they were all hungry, and then Jesus turned some fish and some bread, feeds 5,000 plus the women and the children, and they got 12 baskets of leftover. I think they were probably the mood swing.
Yeah.
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 Generosity swings the mood.
Yep.
Right.
Generosity makes everybody, just lifts the whole place.
Yeah.
Right.
I think that you got to scheme. Generosity is not that thing that you just wake up in the morning, you're like, let's go.
Right.
You got to think about it. You got to
Right.
plan it. You got to be intentional. You got to take time. What are we going to do for so-and-so? What are we going to send them? How can we help these people? You got to get other people to speak into the idea, other people to speak into the project. And the more generous you are, the more of an opportunity you have to add value.
Yes.
That's what generosity, at the end of the day, generosity
Yes.
just helps me add value to the situation, to the project, or to the person.
Right.
And that's what leadership is. If we want to be great leaders, we need to be looking to add value. You cannot be a stingy person to add value.
Right.
Right.
You have to be a generous person. And we know the world of the generous gets larger and
Larger.
larger. All right. Well, last thing I'm going to say, we have a brand new book coming out.
Let's go.
New book. It actually comes out August 2nd.
Let's go.
So we got some time, but I want to encourage everybody, pick up a copy. Get on our bulk orders.
Yeah.
And I want to encourage every pastor, take your church through it, take your youth ministry through it, worried about everything because I pray about nothing. This has been written to people that don't know how to pray, people that want to learn how to get, I love this, how to live with peace and purpose instead of stress and burnout. We cannot get out of this stress and burnout until we learn how to live in peace and purpose, which prayer activates all that.
That's right.
So this is the who, what, when, where, why, and how of prayer.
It's really good.
And so I want to encourage you, order a copy for everybody in your family, everybody in your team. Read it as a team. I cannot wait. August the 2nd.
They can pre-order
Pre-order right
on
now.
Amazon and Target.
And Target. Or just go to our website, myname.org. And I think there's bulk orders on there as well if you want to do that. So cannot wait. August 2nd. Here we
Let's go.
It's no October 14th.
But close to it.
But
Rob,
I would say the wedding date is close to this.
in proximity of dates, but not in celebration. Yes, you're
we
right.
won't tell Lindsay you said that.
We love you. We're back, and we'll see you soon.